News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Lisa Mateo.
And I'm Karen Moskow.
Karen, we begin with the latest efforts to end the war in Ukraine. President Trump meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskiy at the White House to discuss air defense and energy assistance. Bloomberg's Amy Morris reports from Washington.
Ukrainian officials have offered to share expertise in drone technology and production in exchange for U.S. weapons and energy. Zelensky is also expected to discuss the possibility of the U.S. exporting liquefied natural gas to help with Ukraine's energy needs and may offer U.S. oil companies use of Ukraine's pipeline infrastructure. This comes just a day after President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin agreed to meet in Budapest to discuss an end to the war in Ukraine. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
They also agreed to have a high-level senior staff meeting convened as early as next week.
Leavitt says President Trump will also talk with Zelensky today about meeting with Putin. In Washington, Amy Morris, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, Amy, thanks. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney is weighing in on the Russia-Ukraine war. In an interview with Bloomberg's Michelle Hussein, Carney says NATO should keep all options open if Russia violates its airspace and, quote, do what's necessary to protect the alliance. Carney says Russia's use of jets and drones over European members of NATO should be viewed as a sign of weakness, not strength.
Russia's under pressure. They're trying what they can to shift. But they're under economic pressure. Their military situation, they were making some progress over the course of the summer. That progress has stopped.
And you can listen to the full conversation between Michelle Hussein and the Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. Just search The Michelle Hussein Show wherever you get your podcasts or on the Bloomberg Podcast channel on YouTube.
All right, well, Karen, the first New York City mayoral debate, it is in the books. Bloomberg's John Tucker, he joins us here in Manhattan with the very latest. John, it was certainly a heated debate.
Yeah, and one of the more heated issues, Lisa, affordability, with Democrat Socialist frontrunner Zoran Mamdani behind a rent freeze on rent-controlled apartments.
The last Rent Guidelines Board study showed that profits were up 12% for landlords of those units. And what did they do? They raised the rent.
Former governor, now independent candidate Andrew Cuomo pointed out that's unworkable.
Freeze the rent only postpones the rent, because then you have to have an increase to cover the costs. Otherwise, the building is going to go bankrupt.
And Republican Curtis Lewa chimed in, we have 25 Empire State buildings full of commercial space that will never be occupied for office space.
We should be converting them into affordable apartments. They're in dense areas. The infrastructure can support it.
And pressed on how they would handle President Trump, Mamdani, who walked to the NBC debate venue at 30 Rockefeller Plaza from Trump Tower, accompanied by a brass band, said he would stand up to the president, will also be willing to work with him on lowering costs and affordability. Cuomo warned that if Mamdani wins, it will be Mayor Trump. Sliwa cautioned that taking too contentious a tone with the president would end up hurting the city. A second and final debate scheduled for next week. In New York, I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, John, thank you. In D.C., the government shutdown enters its third week. Democrats continue to urge the extension of Affordable Care Act tax credits, while Republicans say they're not negotiating until the government's reopened. Senate Majority Leader Republican John Thune says he offered Democrats the opportunity to vote to extend tax credits. Democratic Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he wants to negotiate behind closed doors.
We're not negotiating in public, plain and simple. And Leader Thune has not come to me with any proposal at this point.
Chuck Schumer and Democrats remain stalled in the Senate, and House Majority Leader Mike Johnson says Republicans are holding firm on their position, too.
I don't like being mad, Mike. I want to be happy, Mike. I want to be the happy warrior, but I am so upset about this.
Republican House Majority Leader Mike Johnson says his party will debate Obamacare subsidies after the government reopens.
And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Lisa Mateo.
I'm Karen Moskow, and this is Bloomberg.